Hey, what's up guys, it's Theo from Concept, and today I'm going to show you how to create a design for Mother's Day in Adobe Photoshop. So, let's just get started. Welcome to Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. So first of all, let's open up our application. For this tutorial, I'm using Photoshop CC 2018, and I'll go ahead and create a new document. I'm leaving my width and height as 2000 by 2000. I'll just hit on OK. So here we have our white background. I'm going ahead to type in my information. So the first thing I'm going to do is type in the Mother's Day as my main text. So I'll start with Mother's. Then I'll go ahead and type Day as a separate text. So I have two separate texts to work with instead of just typing all of them as one. So if I zoom in a little bit, I can place this text somewhere around here, and I can place this somewhere around here like so. The font I'm using is called Euphoria Script. I'll try and leave a link in the description below in case you want to use the exact same thing. Now I'll type in happy as well. So that's also going to be somewhere at the top, but I'm going to be using a font called Unisans Regular. You can also try with Verdana or any of the other fonts you might be interested in. So for that, I'll place it somewhere around here like so. So I'll go ahead and change the color of Mother's to that, and I'll do the exact same thing for Day. Now for happy, I'm actually going to create a shape at the back of it. So I'll just grab my rectangle tool and I'll draw a rectangle like so, just covering up that space. So with that, I'm just going to change the color by double clicking on the thumbnail and set it to 20 20 20 and hit OK. So I'll double click on the T for the text right here, and I'll change the color to white. So this is looking nice to me already. I can also go ahead and use the move tool to bring it somewhere around here. I think that is much prettier. So I'll go ahead and duplicate this, Ctrl J, and I'll move this somewhere around here. I think the font is a little bit too big, so I'll be reducing that in a couple of seconds. So for this text, using the type tool, I'll just highlight everything and I'll type in Happy Mother's Day, okay, to all women. Now like I said, I think the font is too huge, so I'll select a font like 12 point, and I think that's looking okay. So let's zoom in a little bit. With the rectangle selected, I'm just going to stretch it out. I want it to be placed somewhere around here, and I'll make it smaller like so. Then I'll go ahead and select my text and I'll place it somewhere around here. I'm actually looking for a text that will be wide enough to cover this entire place, but none is coming to mind right now. You know what, let's make it, I think this is much better. So this is what I'm going to be using. So a font size of 12 points is okay. That's exactly what I'm going to change this also to. So 12 points, so that we have this form of uniformity among them. So I will resize this shape as well, just like what I did for the shape beneath. You know what, to make it even much better, I'm just going to be duplicating this shape. I'll bring it beneath the happy text, then I'll move it here like so, so that everything seems uniform. Okay, so let's zoom out and see the artwork we have so far. Okay, so this is the part that gets interesting. So the font for our main text only comes in regular. I think the text is not bold enough for me. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to FX with the main text selected. I'll go to FX, click on stroke, then I'll set a stroke of about 1 pixel of size, and I'll change the color to the exact same color I'm using here. So I'll just sample it from my foreground color. So if 1 is not enough for you, you can just go ahead and increase it, but for the resolution I'm using, I think 1 is okay for me. Now once I'm done, I'll just hold down the Alt key and I'll click on this FX icon So clicking and dragging, you see that I have this effect. I'll just copy that effect onto the day text right here. So when I let go, you can see that that effect is also copied to that, and this is looking awesome already. So I'll highlight everything and I'll group them up, Ctrl G, and I'll call this main text so I don't confuse myself. So let's go ahead and select our main text group. With our move tool, just hold down Ctrl and just click and drag this point to the top. So if you move this, it will be distorting the text. So I want to keep it aligned at a perfect 90-degree angle. So I'll hold down Shift as well. So holding down Shift and Ctrl is going to be something of this sort. And I'll click and drag this gently to the top, not too much. So I think somewhere around -2.0 degrees should be okay. I can't gauge well, so I'll just leave it at 2.1 degrees. And basically this is what we have. Now this is the part that gets interesting. So we are going to be creating a bunch of random shapes around this whole design to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'll create a group on top of the background and call that group I don't know, random shapes. So go to the shapes tool, select the rectangle tool. We'll start with that. I'll just create a rectangle whilst holding down the Shift key, so that's going to be a perfect square. And I'll rotate this somewhere around the 45-degree angle, so 45, and I'll hit OK. So let's resize this and place this I don't know, anywhere at all you want to put this. So I'll put this somewhere around here. I'll duplicate that and I'll place it somewhere around here as well. I'll duplicate it one more time. I'll place it somewhere around here. This time around I'm going to make it much smaller. I think I should make this a little bit larger. So I'll select all three, 1, 2, 3, Ctrl J to duplicate it. With the transform options, right click and go to flip horizontal, and I'll place this I don't know, somewhere around here. Just trying to randomize this as much as possible. So you know what, for all the rectangles I'll group them up and call them rec, and create another group within the random shapes group. This time around I'll be going with ellipse. Now for the ellipse, instead of just creating a perfect circle like this, I actually want it to be the outlines. So for the fill color I'll set it to none, and for the stroke I'll set it to any of the colors I want. So I'll just select one random color and I'll just draw. So the moment I do that, you can see that I'm having these short dashes. That is because for my preset I chose short dashes. You can also use the straight lines and you are going to get this, but I prefer using this instead. So with that I'll just put this, I think it's a little bit too huge, so I'll put this somewhere around if I bring it here, then I'm just going to double click and change the color to this. So that's 20, and I'll click on OK. Now this isn't working because I'm actually using the fill color. I'm supposed to use the stroke color. So I'll go back to my shapes tool and I'll change the stroke color to that 20, and you can see it changes from here. So I'll duplicate that. You know what, let's bring it into this group and call it ellipse. So I'll duplicate that, Ctrl J, and I'll bring this, I don't know, somewhere around here and make it larger again. You can also change the colors to make them much different from everything else, so that we have this change in the overall look. So I'll create one more group. This time around I'm going to be using the polygon tool. So first of all I'll just start with 3 sides. So we have a rectangle, so I'll just draw a rectangle, and this is also going to be outlines, and I'll place the rectangle somewhere, I think somewhere around here should be okay. Let's go ahead and change the stroke. So I think I'll select the dark version. So with my move tool, I think somewhere around here should be just fine, and I'll reduce the size just like so. You know what, I'll just place it at anywhere I want, so it doesn't have to be perfect. The more random it is, the nicer the design becomes. Okay, so for my last shape, which is the most important shape of all, I'll just be using the custom shape tool, and I'll change the shape at the top here to a heart. You can also go ahead and select whatever you want, but I'll be using a heart for this tutorial. And I'll just hold down shift and I'll just draw out a heart by just clicking and dragging with my mouse. Now you can see it is still a shape, so it's using the outlines from previous shapes we've created. So I'll go ahead and set this to none, and sorry, not none, I'll set it to a fill color. Then I'll set this to a long stroke, so instead of the short dashes I'm actually going to be using this one instead. So with my move tool selected, I'm just going to resize this. The idea is to place it somewhere around here to make it seem like that is the apostrophe. So I'll place this something like so, somewhere around here should be just fine. And I'm actually going to distort this shape, so I'll hold down the control key and I'll just click and drag from the edge. I want this part to seem like it is much smaller than this other side, so that we have this. So basically we are done, but there's one last thing we have to do. The shapes are looking so random that they are not nice, so we are going to be adding effects to them. So to do that, let's select all the shapes. So I'll open up the groups and I'll just rasterize all of them. Now you don't have to do this if you are not going to be applying filters to all the shapes, but I don't know which one I'm actually going to be applying the effect to. That's why I'm going ahead to just rasterize all of them at once. So for the ones which are much closer to the camera, like this shape right here, I'll just go to the filter, go to blur, and I'll click on Gaussian blur, and I'll set the Gaussian blur to about 5 pixels, and I'll click on OK. So in case I want to apply this filter one more time, I'll just hold down Ctrl Alt and press F. So the number of times I press, the number of times is going to apply that effect. If an older version of Photoshop, is just Ctrl and F. So I'll do the same thing for this shape I have here. So Ctrl Alt F to blur it up. I think I'll do the same for this as well. And I think I can stop right around here. But there's one more thing, the last thing I want to do before I end this video is I'll change the foreground color to solid black, and I'll create a gradient over it. So the first one is going to be a linear gradient, and you can just click and drag and place it wherever you want, and I'll click on OK. So I'll set my opacity to about 50, let's make it smaller, about 20%, so it is there but you hardly notice. And I'll create one more time. This time around I'm going to set it to radial, flip it around, so I'll reverse it and set the scale to 1000%, and I'll click on OK. So if we just see the before and after, you can see from here. I'll be posting this on my Instagram page, so in case you don't follow me from there, you should probably check that out. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like to watch more of our videos, hit that subscribe button, and as always, share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Fino Concept, and I'll see you guys in the next one.